Welcome to the Ladies Enrichment Club Worldwide, where we support women in business and help them to grow. Today, we have a very special two guests with us, and we would like to introduce them as well, but I would like to give them the opportunity to introduce themselves. Hi, Nandi. Hi, Charlie. How are you?
Hi, Zelda. We're very well, and you?
Good, thanks. Good. Okay, who's going first?
Okay, I'll let Nandi. So
let me introduce ourselves. I'm Nandi, he's Charlie, and we're called Who's Who, and we are a South African duo, performing in the UAE, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, all the Emirates. We do all sorts of genres: 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, country, rock, and all the oldies. So that's
and our original music.
And the original music, of course. And also we also cater for our South African friends as well.
Yeah.
Which we are the only live band in the UAE that actually perform Afrikaans music as well. So which is a plus, I think, for us. Unless events are organized, South African artists and so, but locally we are the only band doing Afrikaans music.
Oh, that's
great. There's no other band that we know of that does as much Afrikaans music as we do, especially for South African events and people coming from South Africa, and we are sometimes blown away at how many South Africans are in the audience, just hanging out at different venues and things like that. So it's great.
And we are a traveling band, so we love travel and touring and that kind of stuff, like we did back in South Africa as well. So we don't mind traveling to perform at different kinds of venues. So that's who we are.
That's great.
We don't know who's who, but we know what we're doing.
Everybody always asks, so who's who? And we say, well, we don't know. We'll let you know one day when we find out.
But how did you decide on the name Who's Who?
Charlie, you can tell that story.
So 7 years ago, when Nandi and I formed the band, we were sitting chatting about what are we going to call ourselves and so on. And we went through a whole lot of names, and eventually we decided we'll call ourselves Double and Trouble. And we decided, well, that was going to be our name. And we were sitting outside having a cup of coffee, and Andy said, you know what, the only problem with Double and Trouble is people are going to ask who's double and who's trouble. And I said, well, then we just tell him we don't know who's who. And Andy said, who's who? I said, yeah, well, we don't know. That's our name.
Bad name.
And we've just stuck with that name for the past 7 years.
That's why still we don't know who's who. Who's trouble, who's double, who's trouble, we don't know.
I think it's such a creative name, and I think the way that you were, like figuring it out, what an amazing way to decide on a name. So it's your brand. I mean, this is your brand, and you need to get it out there. And if there's somebody that's struggling with a name, what advice could you give them to decide on a name?
You know what? Just throw names around and become creative.
Think of a couple of, that's what my idea is. Think of a couple names, and then especially when you're indecisive, put it in a hat and draw one or something like that.
It will eventually resonate with you when you find the right name, because when we were discussing what we're going to call ourselves, we said resistance to light and light of resistance, and this name and that name, and eventually we decided, what about Double and Trouble? That's a good name. Okay, so that's going to be our name. And it sounded good. And then Nandi posed the question, and she said, but if people ask who's double and who's trouble, we just say we don't know who's who. And that name just sounded so good. And we said, you know what? That's going to be our band name, because it resonated with us.
And funny enough, people still ask who's who.
Exactly.
We're stuck with that question.
Every single venue that we play at, our band name is a talking point because everybody asks us, so who's who? And we say, we don't know. That's our answer.
Yeah,
but exactly, Charlie, because you know your brand name needs to stick. People should remember, you know. And a lot of people struggle getting a brand name, even if it's for a product or a service or for a band. So I think it's good that you think it through before you make a decision. Because once you make a decision and you print it on things and you get it out there, it's there.
Yeah.
It's not easy to take it back. Thank you so much for your introduction. Now, why did the two of you decided to, or how did you come together in the first place and decide to, you know, make this a bigger brand and make it more successful?
Okay, so Nandi, you can
start.
answer.
And I'll start. We will both answer it. So before we got together and met each other, I was going to Marley Kelly in South Africa, for Idols coach for 9 months. So I was into office work most of my life, after finishing school. So then I decided, okay, now I'm going to do what I love. And I started singing. But I first went to Marley Kelly for some coaching. And then after that, I was planning to go into, you know, working as a solo artist. And I was invited to a gig, an event, which got cancelled, by the way. And then after that, the same lady that organized it, she's from, what was the radio station called?
All Time
Radio. She said, so I really want to have an interview with you, you know, on the radio. And after that, she gave me Charlie's number. She told me about him and that he was looking for a female vocalist to work with him. And because he was planning to travel on the boats, you know, the boat entertainment, or maybe Dubai. And I went to look, and she gave me his number. He phoned me, and I went to one of his gigs, and I liked it because he's performing the music that I love, you know, all the oldies and stuff. And yeah, so he came to my house. I told him, come over and let's do a song together and see how it works. And you can carry on.
Yeah, so before Nandi and I joined forces, I was a solo artist. I'd fronted many bands and played in many bands over many, many years. And I then decided I want to maybe go on the cruise ships or something like that. And a friend of mine who's a big agent for the cruise industry, he actually said to me, you know what, as a solo artist, you're dead in the water. No matter how good you are as a solo artist, you need to get either a 2-piece or a 3-piece band, or look for a female vocalist to join you and take it from there. So I had just released two singles under my own name, and Annette Williams from All Time Radio actually heard it, and she also contacted me and said, listen, I need to interview you. And we became quite good friends. And then I mentioned to her I was looking for a female vocalist. And she said, you know what? I've got 5 ladies. And she sent me pictures of all 5 ladies. And I had a look at their pictures. And I don't know, there was just something about Nandi that stood out to me. It was like, when I saw her picture, this one, I didn't even contact the other 4. Just so that, but don't get a big head now. And I phoned Nandi. I said, listen, I got your number from Annette Williams. I'm looking for a female vocalist. And then, yeah, she came and saw my gig. And she said, you know what, let's see if this can work. And I went over to her place, set up the equipment. And from the first song, we just gelled. And the decision was made, let's do this. And here we are, 7 years later.
At our first practice, we decided on a name, and then we started a band, baby.
Yeah, we started a band, baby.
Wow,
and here we are, 7 years later. We've traveled, we've got albums out, we've got songs, we do anything and everything. We've traveled to Botswana, all over Africa, South Africa.
We got to do, like Charlie's, how can I explain? So we got so busy in South Africa with all the gigs that we'd never had the opportunity to go to on the cruise ships, or because we were too busy. We were booked, fully booked. Only after 3 years, we decided, after incident in South Africa, that we decided, okay, now it's time to go. That's when we went to Dubai.
That is amazing. I mean, so you just, when you've met each other, there was just this feeling like we should make this happen. We should make success out of this.
It was sort of our voices blend together so nicely, and there was never an issue where we like sat down and said, okay, well, you sing
that part,
you sing that part. We just gelled our harmonies, and it was just a natural occurrence, and well, here we are.
We just do it.
And I think if you're in music, I mean, there is certain things you need to think of, like I said, the voices going together, you know, are we working as a team as well? And I totally get when you say you don't want to make the band bigger at this moment, because maybe, you know, you're so used to each other doing things together.
It's not a question of making the band bigger. We decided when we, on the onset, that whatever we do 50-50. So writing music, for example, it doesn't matter if I write a song and Nandi writes the music, or vice versa. When we record a song, we recorded it as Who's Who. When we register the song, everything gets registered 50-50. And that is exactly, and we've had times where people have come and said, oh, but why don't you get a drummer, and why don't you do this? And we say, no.
We are a brand.
We are a brand. We've worked hard on that brand, and we've built that brand over so many years. And you can speak to any venue owner, any person we've ever done a private function for, and they will tell you the level of professionalism that Who's Who brings is, a lot of people have never seen that. We've never ever cancelled a gig. We've never ever been late for a gig. We've had instances where Nandi's had an operation on her palate and she's full of stitches. She can hardly
If I smile, you just see stitches. It's like,
but she's on the stage.
I had so much pain, but I'm still there.
I've had instances where I've broken 2 ribs on tour, on the first day of the tour.
And it's still
broken 2 ribs.
And you're still there.
We had
so that's commitment.
11 shows in 14 days, and I'm carrying speakers around, but we do not.
Yeah, and I think that is really commitment. If you want to make something work, you need to work on it. You cannot just expect things to come your way. And this is what I'm always trying to show through the interviews, that people that's reaching success, how did they get there?
Hard work.
It's hard work. That doesn't matter what you are doing in life. You need to work hard at what you set your mind to. Before we go on, and I see our time is going fast, I want to share screen your video, your music videos.
Our journey of 1,000 miles began with just one single song. From the moment we first met, we knew we'd get along.
Traveling around the world, making music as we go. Every place we stop at, we do a different show. Ups and downs, setbacks and clouds were not enough to stop us now. Our music keeps us going. We have to sing out loud. Oh, we meet so many people, visit many towns, every night on different stages, playing our favorite songs. Friends become fans, oh, don't you love the sound of that? Let's make some music, celebrating that. different stages, playing our favorite songs. Friends become fans, oh, don't you love the sound of that? Let's make some music, celebrating that.
It's really about traveling and meeting people. That's our audience, and then they become friends.
Yeah,
It's always like that.
yeah. That ends. Fans become friends. And for us, that's important.
Yeah.
Even the venue owners, people that we deal with, they become our friends.
Yeah.
And for us, it's very important.
And especially in another country, a different country where there's no family, and it really means so much to us, meeting people and meeting friends. Yeah.
Yes. And it's also good for your brand again to to get yourself promoted. People talk about who's who, and they're really professional. They are really, they sing in harmony, they make great music. And your genre is more country?
No.
We do everything.
Everything.
We do
everything.
I always say to the people, we do from Patsy Cline to AC/DC and back, and then some.
we have most genres. Yeah.
We do 60s, 70s, 80s. We do some of the latest stuff. We do from AC/DC, Guns N' Roses, country.
Okay.
I'm a country girl, he's the rocker.
If you write a song, like this one is more country, correct? So is that your favorite genre to write for, or you can write anything?
I think, for me as a country girl, because I love country music, yes, definitely. It always seems like when I write a song, it goes country, always, for some reason. I always wanted to make it a country song. But sometimes you try to mix it up a little bit.
I mean, if you listen to our original album, it's a nice listening album. There's a mixture of English and Afrikaans music, and it's sort of got a country vibe, but there's a couple of nice, punchy songs. There's songs that are just nice, laid back.
Right.
So it just depends on what you want to write about.
Yeah.
And if you listen to our album, it's called Swiss Tate. It tells stories. Where
can we buy this album from? The online store, or where?
Swiss Tate is available on all the musical platforms like Deezer and Spotify and YouTube.
Yeah. And then Nandi's also got a link if you want a digital copy of the album. You actually just order it from us, and we'll send you,
the digital copy.
The digital
online.
Because we've got besides our original album, I think we got about 6 or 8 CDs out.
Yeah.
Wow.
But most of them we sell at our gigs, especially in South Africa. In the UAE, they don't make use of albums anymore. Everything's online.
Yeah.
But our original
online, right? But
yes.
Tell me, can we see it on your Facebook page? I'm gonna share screen that and see. Let me just see.
We'll be on Facebook. There's so much going on there right now.
Okay,
so you're gonna have to scroll down.
So if you're watching this video and you would like to get in contact with Who's Who, and you would like to know a little bit more about their gigs, about their music, where they can buy the music from, just go here there or send them a WhatsApp. Follow them. I did not follow. Let me follow you. I'm following you now. There. And send them a WhatsApp.
Just be careful of following us, because I always say, don't follow me, I'm lost.
Who's who?
And we still don't know.
So we've got some great news for the South Africans. Where will this happen?
Oh, in South Africa, yeah.
In where? In Pretoria?
So that will be at Plaza Gat in Hartbeespoort Dam.
Okay.
So we originally wanted to go to South Africa to go have a little bit of a rest. But as soon as they found out that we're in South Africa there during that time, they wanted to give us a gig. And they didn't give us one, they gave us 3 dates. So we have to do all 3.
So they got so many inquiries, they have to split it over three gigs.
And then we also got it.
Well,
and then we also got another one. So we've got 4 events happening during that time that we're in South Africa, from the 20th to the 23rd of April. Yes.
You must be, you know, like so huge in South Africa that people want you to perform in your resting time. They want you to
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, before we left South Africa, if you did not book us at least 3.5 months in advance, we couldn't help you. That's how busy we were. And when we went back to SA during the major lockdown here, during COVID time, when the second time they stopped the music, I mean, we left on the Monday and we did our first gig on the Friday, and we landed up playing 4 nights a week right through until we came back to the UAE. And when people hear we're coming to South Africa, we get inundated with requests. Please, can you come and perform? We'd love to have you. Yeah, it's crazy.
But it's not only in South Africa. We also going out for the South Africans here in Dubai as well on a Saturday brunch.
I see.
More than
you have 1 day ago you posted you're going to be at the Donatella Hotel Dubai. That's great. So,
every Saturday afternoon, yeah.
Oh, okay. So follow Who's Who, get in contact with them. If you're in Dubai, go and say hi to them. And yeah, I think it's a very nice time out as well to go and enjoy it as a family. Do you normally do just in pubs, or you also do in other venues like restaurants where it's more family?
Pubs, restaurants, private functions, corporates, weddings,
private events.
Any special occasions, we there. You know, and I must also just add, I know time's going quite quickly, is we very, very honored and blessed in a way, because we got nominated for Best Abu Dhabi Band by Time Out magazine after being in the UAE for only 3 months.
Yes.
And we've just heard some exciting news last week now. We have received 2 nominations for the Afri-Indie Music Awards in South Africa by Afri-Indie. They are the largest independent South African music organization. And it's almost like the Oscars or the Grammys of music in South Africa.
Yeah.
And we received 2 nominations for Best Duo Act and Best Duo Album. So that's happening in South Africa on the 4th of April. So we are absolutely blown away.
Yeah, we'll keep everybody posted on that as well.
So I think long term for us is just to continue doing what we're doing, building our brand, writing more music, and hopefully win some more awards and
making our listeners happy.
That's it. Yeah.
Happy audience, happy band.
We're definitely looking at writing more. I'm busy writing all the time, and hopefully Nandi's also doing some stuff.
We've got so many songs that it's written, but nothing happened yet further. So, yeah.
Because it's a whole process that you go through. Some songs happen very quickly, others take some time.
And the other thing with the COVID situation, they weren't really financed, to get that songs recorded, because
because it's expensive.
It's expensive, so
studio time and producers,
little.
And they charge a fortune to record.
Yeah, but new songs are ready on the way.
What advice can you give to someone that would like to start a song, that you think of something? How do you start a song? Where do you start? Do you start writing? Do you start with the music?
So sometimes you'll get a melody.
It differs from person to person.
Sometimes you'll get a melody, sometimes you'll get lyrics. With me, it's a mixture. Like I'm busy writing a song now called One More Tequila, and I had a nap, and these words just came, and I jumped up and I grabbed my phone and I started like just humming, and then these words come and I just sort of record the words.
Write them down because you will forget the lyrics.
And
that's a good advice.
Then I'll take the guitar and I go through the thing sort of roughly, and then I leave it, and then I mull it over. And One More Tequila I've been busy with for a while. The lyrics are done, the basic melody lines, everything's done, but I've never been sort of happy with where I want the song or what the final product must sound like. And the other afternoon I was having a nap, and boom, the melody just came. So I grabbed my phone and I started whistling the tune.
Sometimes it happens quick, sometimes it happens slowly. For me, when I go on holiday, I sit on a rock and the lyrics just come and I write them down on my phone, type them in. It just came. So sometimes it depends on the situation where you're at.
I think when you're new in the music industry, you want to write your songs, and you're young and you feel this is where you want to go. You want to start a band, you want to write songs, you want to sing them, you want to perform them. I think you need to give yourself some time to grow.
It's a process. It's a process that you have to go through, and also, you know, there's things like intellectual property rights, and there's a whole lot more to it than just writing a song, putting it out there. Especially if you establish like Nandi and I mean, back in South Africa, we have to be registered with SAMRO, SAMPRA, Capasso, this one. It's a pack of documents like this. For every song that we release, you have to have barcodes and this and that for your music to be published. And it's expensive and it's hard work. And sometimes people feel like giving up. You know, is it really worth it?
It's important from my side quickly, for the new singers especially. It's always good to know that it's good if you sing or perform cover songs, but it's better to have your own original
music is very important.
That's really a plus for you.
It's very important. So, I mean,
as hard as it is, always try to write your own music.
Yeah. It's a legacy that you leave behind, and it's for me, music is about telling stories, and you put a tune to it. So if you look at a lot of the music that Nandi and I have, it's what's actually happened, you know,
real life experiences.
And sometimes you get down and you get despondent and you think, so why do I actually do that? But it's a passion. It must be an absolute passion, because believe you me, you don't make money out of music.
No,
you don't make money.
It's not money.
Unless you know, AC/DC or these guys.
But they also started right at the bottom before they got famous.
It's such a competitive market, and you've always got to find ways to reinvent yourself and bring something different.
Yeah.
And for me, if I look at music from way back when to music of today, it's about staying power. So if I ask a teenager, do you know who AC/DC is? They will always say, yes, we know AC/DC. But if I ask a teenager, do you know who the Weekenders are? Huh? Or do you know who this one is? And they say, huh? And that's what I mean by staying power.
ABBA. Everybody knows ABBA.
Exactly. That's staying power.
Even the youngsters know ABBA.
Yeah. My daughter is 12 and she sings songs of ABBA. I'm like, where did you hear that song now? I just hear it at school. I'm like, okay, cool. And I mean, it's nice to know that they still hear those songs. I love it.
Yeah,
Not just because I feel modern music is so, I don't know, it's repetitive of the same words.
Yes,
And
I agree.
I
And
used to work.
it's become.
Yeah, I used to work for Musica back in South Africa, and the music. If I can compare it to that time, I'm not going to give my age away here, but used to listen to music of the 80s. Great. I love the 80s and the 90s, and then things start to get into repetitive.
Yes.
So I think telling a story is great. That's a good advice for somebody. Or, like poems. What do you think about poems? Singing poems?
Yeah, poems as well is
it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, if you put a nice tune to a poem, there we go. You've got yourself a song. But it's so true what you say, that the music of today is repetitive. And it's all.
It's like techno. Everything turns into techno lately. There's no,
definitely,
dance music.
For me,
stories anymore.
Yeah. For me, if you look at bands like the Eagles, for example, listen to the lyrics of the song.
Yeah.
And it will tell you the story. Lying Eyes, all those songs from that era actually told stories,
And that's what I love about country, because it tells stories.
It tells a story,
Yeah.
They always used to joke in South Africa and say, what happens if you play a song backwards? They say, no, it's the devil chanting and all that type of stuff. And then one guy turned around and he said, no, so what happens if you play a country song backwards? And the guy said, well, then you get your car back, you get your wife back, you get your house back, because a lot of people associated country with losing everything, because all the country singers, I lost my love and they took my car and where am I going to live and all this type of stuff. Yeah, And then some clever dude said, well, what happens if you play an Afrikaans song backwards? And they said, well, then you get a potjiekos recipe.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's so great. It's so fun to talk to you about this and to give advice. Also, I think people that's starting out, they should not really overthink things. They should just go do it, write a song. Because I think these days we overthink. We try to think, oh, this one is accomplishing this, so I want to be better. No, just do what you're good at.
Do what you do.
Yeah.
If I can give anybody decent advice, be prepared for hard work. Yeah. Because the music industry is so competitive. And a lot of people think, if you get up on a stage and you do a 4-hour show, well, hello, you this big famous person and you're under the limelight and you're under the stage lights and things. It's not like that in reality.
It's not glamorous as it seems.
It is hard work. And people don't realize that. And they think, to be a musician is fun. It's hard work.
But you have to push through. You don't give up around the first corner. Just push through.
For example, people don't realize how many hours of practice goes into doing what you do. To put a 4-hour show together takes hard work, practice. Your equipment.
Yes.
Guitar strings that break, speakers that pack up, tables that won't work. To travel to a gig, to set up the equipment, then get up and perform for 4 hours, and then get off the stage, pack everything up, and travel again another 200-300 kilometers.
Yes.
It takes dedication. It takes hard work. Yeah. And
unless your name is Dolly Parton.
Yeah, and you have like a whole crew. Yeah, you have a crew and they do everything for you and they set up the stage but yeah, that's true.
That's sorry, Zala, that's another good advice I always give is
Find a role model.
as soon as you get famous, always stay humble.
Yeah,
Always stay
definitely.
humble.
Definitely.
That's such a big mistake people make, and then people don't like you anymore. So
Yeah,
stay humble.
and we've got a lot of examples about that. But just remember one thing: stay humble. Like Nandi says, I think that's amazing advice that we can give to anybody who's young and upcoming. Is just remain humble, and remember, you're only as good as your last performance. That
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's hard work. I mean, you know, people don't realize. So we two different individuals, and we have disagreements.
Yeah,
And
all
you're
the
on
time.
your way to a gig and you land up having a massive argument and you're upset with each other, but now you have to get on stage and perform together.
The show must go on, right?
The show must go on. You're not feeling well, or somebody in your family's passed away, or you're just dealing with life in general.
Yes.
And you have to get up on that stage and put up a performance as if nothing is wrong. It's not easy sometimes. You know, we've had instances where we've like really on the way to a gig, you fight like cat and dog. But when you get on that stage, you have to perform
You
together.
smile, you put up your
Smile.
beautiful
Smile and, oh, wow, and then you get off the stage and Andy says, don't talk to me. And I'm like, don't talk to me. You know, I don't want to know your story.
I'll take a taxi back home.
Yeah, there we go. You know, so it's not all fun and games. It's hard work. And I mean, you know, we can write books about things that have happened, and
Yeah.
you know,
Instead, we wrote a song.
yeah, we wrote the song.
It's not like you're not in a relationship, but you're in a relationship as partners, as band members.
Exactly.
You need to work. You cannot, when you're upset, you cannot say, well, that's it, we're going home. You cannot do it, because you want people to know that you're professional. And
Exactly.
throws things at us, and doesn't matter in which sector you are in. You know, if you are the CEO of a company, or if you're an entrepreneur, there's things that happens to you and you need to deal with them. And I think that's exactly what you're trying to say. You deal with the stuff and you move on. Thank you so much for that. I quickly want to ask you something before we go. Is there any other goal setting you would like to share with somebody that would like to start their own band? Where should they start? What's the first thing they need to do?
A good repertoire. Don't just have 10 songs or 12 songs, because the most frustrating thing is, as soon as you get on a stage, somebody else also wants to book you, and then you have to repeat those songs. People don't want to listen to repeated songs all the time. So grow on your
That's very
repertoire.
important. That's actually very good advice, because you get certain bands that will perform, and if you go and see them tonight and see them tomorrow night, you know they're starting with that song, and when I get to that song, they're going to take a break and they come back and they start with that song. With us, we are always growing our repertoire.
Yeah.
I mean, we have enough songs in our repertoire that we can do 5 shows in a row without repeating the same song twice.
So that really helps. Get your song repertoire ready.
Get your song,
and then do
practice.
It's hard work, like you said. I think it's good advice, because you don't want to, once you're out there and people say, yes, we're ready for you for an event, so that you are prepared. When you get there, you know that you have what you need to do and you need to deliver to the people. Thank you so much for that advice. And I think we've done all the questions. Is there something you want to add?
Yes, what I want to add is for the Dubai viewers, we're going to sponsor 2 people for a brunch on any given Saturday. I'll leave it to your discretion who you would like to give the brunch to, but from Outsiders Who's Who, we'll sponsor a brunch for two
Great.
at the Donatella Hotel.
Okay.
You just let us know. You can let Nandi know via WhatsApp who it is, and we'll
Who the
sort
winner
the
is.
rest.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to do a giveaway. And thank you so much for that. So if you're watching this video and you would like to enter for this competition or giveaway, please leave a comment below and let them know what you thought of the video. Maybe you want to say something to them that you've been on the show and how much you enjoyed it. So just say, I want to win, if you would like to be in the draw. We will do that end of the month. Is that okay with you?
Yes, perfect. No problem.
Okay, end of February, we will do the draw with both of you or whoever can join me. Then we will spin the wheel and we will do the draw. Thank you so much, Nandi and Charlie. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Alda.
Take good care, and I hope to see you. Maybe one day I can be at one of your shows. Good luck for you also in South Africa with your gig.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope that things will go well for you for future as well.
Thank you so much.
Lovely chatting to you.
Thank you, and goodbye to everybody watching.